Welcome to Unplugged Live with Dr. Diane Smith-Clark, PhD. Get ready to get inspired by the stories of overcoming life's challenges to bring change and transformation. Here's Dr. Diane.
Hello and welcome back to Unplugged. I'm so delighted that you've tuned in on tonight. We have a very exciting show, something that's going to interest our Jacksonville parents. I believe that will help with your young people to get them energetic, active, and involved in a positive effort. I want you to like, share, subscribe to our channel, Dr. Diane Clark Unplugged, or you can go to our YouTube channel, Facebook. We're on all social media outlets. Like us and share. Help us keep our numbers up. We really appreciate that. Tonight, we're going to talk about mentorship and martial arts. I think that's exciting, and we're going to get right into it. I have a very special guest, Pastor Nashawn Nix, who's with the SEAL team, and we're going to talk about who that is, what they do in the city, and how you can become involved. Hello, Pastor.
Greetings, Dr. Clark. Greetings.
How are you?
All is well on my end. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Oh, you are so welcome. I'm delighted. I am always looking in the community for positive things, especially bringing awareness to mental health, availability for services, for counseling, or even activities that would improve the mental health quality in our community, because a lot of times people aren't aware of services that's available, and you don't always need counseling. Sometimes there's mentorship or activities that you can get involved in, which is why I thought about your show. I thought, oh wow, that's going to be exciting, the SEAL team. And I learned that the SEAL team means social, emotional, and academic leadership through mentoring and through martial arts. And I know a lot of parents put their kids in martial arts program, but wouldn't it be great to get the mentorship, the leadership skills, and the academics all in one package? Tell us about your program.
Yes, I did my dissertation through New York Theological Seminary to find innovative, revolutionary ways to be able to reach our youth, especially in at-risk, disadvantaged communities where the socioeconomic status may not necessarily be ideal for a thriving community. And we want to find ways to be able to give our youth a competitive advantage, a competitive edge, and also build self-determination. All of our principles are biblical based. Everything that we do from beginning to end is all based on scripture. Obviously, people say we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but who is actually teaching our youth that we're not wrestling with flesh and blood? A lot of times people say, well, don't be a follower, be a leader. But where are they getting that leadership template? And then people tell children what they should do when something occurs like bullying, but where do they get a chance to exemplify what to do if that happens? So we create a safe space for girls and boys ages 5 and up. This program is modeled at different schools. It can also be modeled within community centers as well as churches. To where we're able to do basically peer mediation, where we create conflict to see how we can best resolve it. And everything begins and ends with respect. And our goal is to give them something that they can take from their youth into adulthood and basically become mentors themselves.
That is awesome. I like the concept. I know that that's not just a good idea that you had. It's a God idea, because it reaches into an area of our community where we have poor conflict management skills. And if we start teaching children from 5 up how to handle conflict, how to deal with situations that become tense or seem to be out of control, what they can do to bring the situation under, get it in a space that they can manage it. So it's good that you're doing that, and you're including academics as well, because it is really not beneficial to know what to do in conflict, and you don't know what to do when you're having problems with a math problem, or you're not learning the laws that go along with English. We need to know that too. Tell us about the academic portion of your program.
All right. Huey P. Newton, one of the founders of the Black Panther Party, he says that learning comes through action and reflection. And when you're looking at action and reflection, we think that just because you gave somebody some information, they're learning. That's not how it works. You got to have time to reflect.
Yeah.
You got to have time to see, how does this apply to where I am right now? How does this apply to a circumstance that's outside of my control? Well, what is within my control? And now when it comes to learning, you have different modalities of learning for all of our educators, especially in Duval County. Shout out to you. I take my hat off to you. Because it's a ministry, it's a calling, just like someone saying that they're an evangelist, they're an apostle, they're a pastor, they're a teacher. Like, those are callings. Same thing when it comes to education. I look at educators as being just as important uh, as that pediatrician or that OBGYN that delivers the baby. They're just as vital.
Yes.
One brings them into the world, and one shows them how to succeed in the world. So, and my goal through martial arts is to bring in a serene focus, a focus that child can self-regulate, build an awareness that they are drifting, they're daydreaming, they're not present. I constantly ask for attention, and I ask for presence. Are you present? Well, I'm right here, coach. No. I know where your body is, but are you here with your body? Are you here with your mind? And just really charging them to be so aware of their emotions, their movements. For especially for a lot of our Black boys, it's like there's a cadence within us, and sometimes we don't have outlets to exhibit what you'll call that warrior ethos, or to display what rhythm is going on in us. So they're beating on the desk. They're beating on the desk, and you just saying stop, and then they're beating on the desk, and then you're saying stop.
Yeah.
They're not even aware of what they're doing. So, but the more that they're aware of what they're doing, the longer that they can stay focused and they can stay concentrated. And that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to stretch that attention span. I'm trying to stretch it from 5 minutes to 10-minute intervals. I'm trying to stretch it from 10-minute intervals to 15-minute intervals. Trying to stretch it from 15 to 30. I want them to be proud that they stay present throughout reading. They stay present throughout math. They stay present throughout language arts, the sciences. Because if you can't maintain focus and concentration, it doesn't matter what the subject is. Your ability to succeed is going to be limited. So going back into modalities of learning, you got those that are visual, those that are audio, those that are tactile, hands-on. You got those that are Montessori, which means they work well in groups. You have those that are autodidact, which are self-taught. We don't typically talk about self-taught learners, but you look at Frederick Bailey, who's known as Frederick Douglass. Nobody taught him how to read. He taught himself. When you look at folks like George Washington Carver, one of the most profound inventors, especially when you start looking at the utilization of the peanut, no one taught him that. He taught himself. When you're looking at the first successful neurosurgeon to separate conjoined twins at the brain, Dr. Ben Carson, no one has successively separated conjoined twins at the brain where both lived, but he's autodidact. Malcolm X was asked, what university did you attend or did you go to? And Malcolm X responded, books. So these are things that I'm pushing, is that if I can just sharpen their focus, help them find out their best learning style, because I share with all of my students, you can't solve a problem without proof. So if I perform a technique and that child says, I can do it just like you did it, well, you can't mimic until you master muscle memory. I need to know that you can do it and you can execute it, even if your eyes were closed. So, but I want to see it. Just like with math, you got to show your work.
Mm-hmm.
Show your
How
work.
did you get here? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How
So,
did you arrive at this answer? So how does that the I understand the learning process, and it's great that you're so well informed and you understand how the mind works with learning. How do you incorporate the martial arts into that? Because martial arts to me, I'm a martial arts fan. I love all the kung fu movies, anything with kung fu, I love it because of the discipline that they must have in order to maintain the strength, the ability to maintain. When I look at those movies, I don't look at the force of the person inflicting the blow or the kick. I look at the person that's on the receiving end and what it must take for them to know how to receive that punch and then stay in the fight, stay right in the midst of it and go back and forth. And I was like, wow, what if we could really discipline ourselves? And we can if we do what they do.
yes. And like I said, so I'm not necessarily solving math problems on the math, but we're going through the same processes. And if you understand the processes, if you understand the language, the communication, with every whether you're studying cultures, world history, whether you're studying trigonometry, algebra 2,
Mm-hmm.
geometry. Once you learn the formula, all you have to do is apply the steps, and you can't skip the steps. And that's the same thing with martial arts. I'm teaching them to be so aware that excel is the movement and excellent is the destination. What I mean by that is that if you don't know what excellent is, so for I have students that think that excellent is a B. It is above average, but it's not excellent. So when we're looking at excelling, everybody may have a different starting point. Meaning, if we took that student from an F and then we took him from an F to a D, he did excel. It's just not excellent. And we're not going to give them any false praise. We're not going to give them a praise for excellent, knowing that they didn't reach excellence. We're giving them a praise for excelling, not excellence. Now, if we have those that do start on an A level, then we praise them for being there, but now they need to sustain it. And whatever it took to get there, that's what it's going to take to stay there. So it's a shared accountability, and also communicating with. So with this program, that child gets an advocate. Um, we're dealing with a society. If you're from Jacksonville, if you got a child that goes to school on the north side and you got a parent that works on the south side, by the time that parent gets from work to pick up that child from school, and by the time they get home, it's supper time. They really don't have time to do mentorship. So we're an advocate for the parent. We're an advocate for the teacher, noticing these are things that we notice that may be able to help Johnny in the classroom. Would you mind utilizing these techniques? These techniques have helped bring them back into a focus, and it's not emotionally charged to generate a disruptive behavior to where it takes your class off and it takes off the attention from the lesson that's being taught as well.
That is so very important. And I'm glad that you are working with teachers. Do you often go to schools to meet with the teachers of the students?
Yes. Before I start this program, I want you to understand, Dr. Clark, we did um, hours and hours and hours of interviews. Um, we interviewed behavior specialists. We interviewed substance abuse professionals. We interviewed child psychologists. We interviewed tenured principals. We entered like when I say the psychology, there's this thing called token economy.
Mm-hmm.
So a token economy is we do a military style ranking system. I'm not giving them $100, and they're not expecting $100. But with a token economy, I'm going to give them rank.
Mm-hmm.
And at Jobs for Christian Academy, my highest ranking student is a fourth grade female.
Okay.
And when she leads the class, 12th graders listen to what she has to say. Kindergartners listen to what she has to say because of her leadership.
And
So,
she's in fourth grade now.
yes.
Wow, that she has an
And,
awesome jump start.
but it's the same thing in the military. If someone is 35, but then somebody just came in straight from college at 24,
Mm-hmm.
you have to respect the rank.
Mm-hmm.
You have to respect the rank. It's not about age. And basically, if you listen to what this fourth grader is telling you, you can actually reach the same status that she's at, even though she got there before you.
Mm-hmm.
So, but with token economies, like I said, obviously, if someone made straight A's, the reward would be a little bit higher than those who made A beyond. And
Mm-hmm.
then obviously those with A beyond would do better than those who did average, but they did excel. And we will recognize everyone that's excelling. And like I said, there's no reason why they shouldn't excel when they have all the God-given potential. And we take those deep dives and conversations. And like I said, so it's the courage to say, excuse me, Dr. Clark, I heard what you said, but my coach told me that I learn best by hearing. Is it okay if I can ask you to repeat it one more time?
Mm-hmm.
So I know that you said it right, that I'm hearing it the way that you said it,
Mm-hmm.
because this is how I learn best. Dr. Clark, before you erase that, I wrote it down one time, but I learned best by seeing. I need to write out that practice problem one more time before you erase it.
Mm-hmm.
Like our Bible teaches us to come boldly before the throne of grace. I want our children to be bold leaders in the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be the best version of myself so that my God can get the glory. I can put a smile on my mama's face. I can make my teachers proud. And when coach checks me on Wednesday or Friday, I can say, Coach, check out my grades.
That's awesome. There are a lot of adults that need this same process.
Well, I was
Because
talking to the mayor last week. She asked me if I could teach a few people.
it's a lot of adults that have skipped this process and they have resigned to just excel, to hang out in the excel zone and the normal zone, because there's no push for excellence without leadership, without mentorship, and then without you believing in yourself. And I'm taking it, these children, you are empowering them to believe in their own ability, and that is so important. So I was asking, how does the martial arts fit into that? I know martial arts goes by the belt, right? Is it by belt?
Well, okay. I teach MMA, which stands for Mixed Martial Arts. So
Okay.
this is not a traditional karate, tang sudo,
Okay.
taekwondo,
Mhm.
kung fu. I do not put down any form of martial arts or any form of discipline.
Okay.
This is more military style.
Okay.
So with this ranking, I brought in Pastor Dr. Willie Brown, who's a retired Navy commander,
Mhm.
to help promote our students. He's a pastor at New Covenant.
Mhm.
I brought in First Sergeant retired um, United States Air Force Pastor Jimmy Lee to come in for this ranking ceremony. My wife served the United States Navy, the United States in the Navy, 22 years. I brought her in for this ranking ceremony. So I bring in people who have showed decades of leadership and serving our country to come in to pin and or promote our youth.
Oh, okay. Because when you said martial arts, my mind went to kung fu, karate, jujitsu, and okay.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that because with MMA we incorporate everything. We incorporate everything. So from you're probably not going to learn all the kicks in Taekwondo, but you will learn the roundhouses, the side kicks. You're probably not going to get the jumping, spinning heel hook, but you will get the fundamentals of self-defense and mixed martial arts.
Oh, okay. Now I have a better understanding because
yes,
I'm not military, and
yeah.
you were describing it from a point of reference that you knew, and I was trying to put together how was that working. But now I understand what you're doing. You set a goal before them, and then you taught them the increments that would help them reach that goal, so that wherever they came in, they could move, excel to excellence from any point. Okay, now I get the system. I was trying to understand. I was like, how does that work? Do they get to do the martial arts as a treat, or are they doing the academics? But now I get it. It's a kind of complex system of managing and motivating them socially, emotionally, and academically.
So from our ancestors, for those of us of African descent, basically in those formative years, you would have a rites of passage. In this culture that we're in now is very impulsive and a lot of immediate gratification. And it doesn't always work like that. I don't ask anybody to suppress their emotions. I don't ask anybody to suppress their feelings. I just want you to do it with decency, dignity, and respect. So if you cry, it's okay to cry, and nobody's going to put you down.
Right.
I feel like crying, so it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
And nobody's putting anybody down. And to be honest with you, you'll probably be surprised that some students that have been branded as class clowns are some of the best encouragers for those in vulnerable situations. So,
given the language and the technique. Yeah.
And you got so to the man whose only tool is a hammer, every problem is a nail.
Yeah.
And we got a great assignment, Dr. Clark, and I don't take my moments with these youth for granted. If their mamas don't wash on Tuesday and they got to be in uniform on Wednesday, it ain't their mama's fault. It's their fault. I share with them, I come from very humble beginnings. My biological father spent most of my youth in prison. My mom struggled with substance abuse. She passed in 2020 from fentanyl. I do not say that to solicit sympathy. I say that because I believe that when we're all working together and we're all doing our part, we can counter those type of behaviors that yield those type of results. I want them to find the best version of themselves before they get indoctrinated into the juvenile justice system.
Right.
I don't want a young man to come to himself in prison. I want him to come to himself with his brothers and sisters.
Is there a parallel program for parents who may need, I don't know what word I want to use, who would need this training so that it could continue in the home? Is there a para program for adults or people who want to learn how to, how does that work? How does an adult get involved with learning
Well,
the
it will be as needed. And I provided my telephone number, the 904-701-4515. And please forgive me, Dr. Clark, I didn't give you a website. Our website is teamnitromma.com. 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 Nitro is, when I did fight in the cage. I tell people, you earn these ears, you're not born with them. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Uh, um, and like I said, I have done family sessions,
Uh-huh.
8 weeks, 4 weeks. I work with senior citizens.
Oh.
Morris Manor. I've been to Campus Towers.
Mhm.
I've been to numerous senior facilities working with our elders.
Mhm.
Um, just building a sense of community, and just talking about the principles that we use in martial arts through SEAL Team, to see how it can be incorporated. Obviously for my seniors, I'm very big on the buddy system. I don't ever want them to leave a facility or their home by themselves. I want them to be with a buddy, and have a code word just in case something happens.
Mhm.
We're in a society now where men are allowed to use the same restroom as our daughters.
Yeah.
So I teach all of our young ladies, I call it POP, protecting our princesses, making sure that people know your code word. Meaning, if you say help, what's going to happen is somebody's going to pick up their cell phone and then they're going to start recording everything. But if you yell the code word, whether it's a color, a number, obviously the person that you're with, it will be a trigger to let them know that there is an emergency.
Mhm. And that's the 911. That's not recording. Well, that's 911 and then maybe recording. I see that. That sounds like an excellent program, and I'm so grateful. I give God all the praise because we're really not as smart as we think we are, and He downloads to us His mind of things that He want to see happen in the earth. And you were fortunate to catch that from Him and implement this program, SEAL Team. That is awesome. What you're doing. Tell our TV audience how they can participate with you, where you meet, or what days of the week. And then also, I'll put the phone number up so they can call if they want more information.
Yes. Please visit our website. You can actually request information, teamnitromma.com, teamnitromma.com. You can also uh, uh, email teamnitromma@gmail.com, teamnitromma@gmail.com. We're always looking for volunteers, donors. We're always looking for donors because there is a fee for service. But if we're able to find sponsors or donors to be able to sponsor a core group, I've been able to teach the JU track team, females track team self-defense. We do seminars. And like I said, when you're looking at a cohort for a session, is roughly around 20 students over an 8-week period, which is a grading period, which is typically 9 weeks. It gives us an opportunity to track their gains. We treat it like case management. We treat that child like royalty because they are, and we want them to be the best version of themselves, for their families, for God, for the kingdom, for their communities, and their classroom. And like I said, it's practical, it's usable, and I'm fired up. I'm fired up.
Yeah, I can tell. I can tell. And I hope from this broadcast that some parents will also contact you because our children need every advantage that they can get to excel because we really want to see them be able to compete in corporate world. And it's great doing hair, braids, nails, all that's wonderful. But when you can compete in corporate America, then you are upscaling your income, your ability to participate in life at a different level. And I'm sure this program, from what I'm hearing you say, is a benefit to young minds if they can get this information as early as 5 and
Yes.
then start learning what questions to ask, learning how they learn and why they don't pick up things as quickly, perhaps as someone else? What do they need to move to this place of excellence? I thank you so much for being a guest on the show, and I'm excited about hearing what you're doing in the community. I bid you Godspeed, and I pray that God really connects you on a national level so that more people can participate in this process and move from just excelling to excellence, to know that there is a goal, there is a place for you, and it's called excellence, and you can reach it. Thank you so much for being my guest on the show tonight, and you have a blessed and wonderful weekend.
Thank you, Dr. Clark.
All right, you're welcome. That was Pastor Nashon Nix. We enjoyed speaking with him about the SEAL team, social, emotional, and academic leadership through mentorship and martial arts, a comprehensive program, physical and mental activity to help our children move to a place of excellence in their education and in life. Thank you again for tuning in to Unplugged. I'm Dr. Diane Clark, and I am empowering the harvest. Listen, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We really appreciate your participation. And if you have any questions, concerns, or you'd like to be a guest on the show, go to my website, drdianeclark.org. That's DrDianeclark.org. And we'd love to hear from you. Thank you, and we'll see you next Thursday night at 7:00 p.m.
Thanks for joining us for Unplugged Live with Dr. Diane Smith Clark, PhD, helping to bring change and transformation in the mental health space within the church community. Dr. Diane wants to hear from you. If you have any questions, comments, guest recommendations, or program topic ideas, visit DianeUnplugged.com and click the Contact Us link. Dr. Diane also appreciates your prayers and your financial support. You can give online at DianeUnplugged.com and select Donate. If your business or ministry organization is interested in sponsoring this program, you can go to DianeUnplugged.com and click the Contact Us link. Unplugged Live is on all the social media platforms. Just search Dr. Diane Smith Clark, follow, and subscribe. Unplugged Live with Dr. Diane Smith Clark, PhD. Healthy mind, wealthy life.